Um, I was working as a full stack engineer in a company, volunteering pretty much, unpaid internship. It just ended a couple months ago and looking for new opportunities. So, pretty much.
My name is Travis Barney. I work here at Vivint. I've been doing web development since the late 90s. Yeah.
I'm Caleb Erkenbreck. I work at Lingotech. We have an office just down the street, but we're all remote. I've been there for about 3 years. Also been working about 2 years since my first place. Mostly front end with Vue. A little bit of Node, but mostly front end.
Which Vue?
Vue 2 for now, but we're trying Vue 3.
It's different.
Yeah, well, Vue 3 was Nuxt 3, but Nuxt 3 is still an release candidate.
Next?
Nuxt is
That's right,
Vue.
Next. That's right. Next is React. Yeah.
I'm a maintainer on a project that is based in Vue 1.0.
I've never used Vue
I am
1.
slowly eating away at the code base and converting it to Svelte.
I'm John DeLynn. I work at Quali, just across the road. We do like higher ed software stuff. I've been there for about 2 years, and it's like Node, React, and then we're doing some Elixir stuff now too.
What was the name of the company?
It's called Quali,
How's that spelled?
K-U-A-L-I.
You were saying they're like across the street.
Yeah, they're just right across that way.
What's up, everyone? I'm Trent. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft. I actually thought that this was the Rust meetup that was supposed to be next week, but I walked in anyways and figured I want to say hi and meet new faces. I grew up here, but I was in Seattle for the last couple of years, so now I'm working remote. So I work on a remote desktop. Pretty fun. C++, not front end.
I'm Justin Jameson. I work for Unique as a software developer. And let's see, I guess our legacy code is like a lot of like PHP stuff, and our newer stuff is Node.js, JavaScript, React. So, yeah.
It's a surprisingly common hybrid.
Yeah.
I'm Kyle Tolliver. I work at the same place, and yeah, I work more PHP, jQuery.
Can I ask a question? Are you related to Ben Tolliver?
Yes, in like Sandy area.
Does he work at Vivint?
No, my brother Rob Tolliver works at it.
Rob is his name. That's right. Yeah, I can see the reason. Sorry.
Do you know John?
John.
I just see if we're going in a roll. So I'm Spencer, and I work at Audiohook, and I do the front end, and we're using Vue 3, and it's a hoot. Next.
Well, I'm Jordan. I go by Jojo Byte and the channels I'm presenting today, and I kind of self-employed entrepreneur, building my own projects and working on some Dash stuff with AJ, and yeah, kind of consulting type of stuff. But yeah, that's about it, and I will be presenting. I don't know if we want to start that yet.
Are you good?
You done with pizza? I'm good. But
Well, let
finish yourself.
me go get a drink and then we can get started.
I'll get a refill.
Yeah, everybody get refills. We're about to get started. Wait, I have to introduce myself first. I put that in the wrong order. My bad. So I'm AJ. I run this meetup and the Rust meetup. I been in Node for a long time, since the beginning. If you check on your TV, I'm the first name in the credits under the Apple SDK for a bug in the lexicographical sort that put the capital A and capital J above capital A and lowercase a for 3 lines of code. But I am the first name on your TV in the Apple SDK menu, so license. So how many people can say that? Just me. Let's see. I do some work on with a cryptocurrency group called Dash Incubator, and I also my full-time job is Savvy Legal, which if you haven't heard of them, you may benefit greatly from
Using them and friends with Matt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. So yeah. So I'm. If you have problems, you feel free to reach out to me directly. We can skip the whole. Well, actually, you probably should go through the proper channels, but I won't tell.
Maybe you and I can talk about PandaDoc.
Oh, we probably could. I don't know it as well as the other developer that's the one that actually implemented it, but we could talk about it. I'm familiar with some of the problems.
Right on. All right.
All right. Anyway, so that's that. Everybody go get refills on pizza and drinks, and we'll get started in less than 5 minutes.
So AJ,
Yes, sir.
do you know what the problem?
I don't know.
Microsoft called said
There's
with virus on
there's a
my
lot
computer.
of us.
Oh. Did they call now?
There's some more places where
Yeah. If
No,
Mike.
they want to remote into my computer,
Yeah.
and they want to fix it.
Do you work in the office or?
Hey, Lizzie. I don't have the chat opened up properly because I had to reboot the computer. So I mean, give me a second here. I
I'm
will.
really jealous of
I'll get the chat open properly.
Johnny Ives free laptop over there.
Oh, Johnny, what?
So when Johnny, is it Johnny Ives? When he left?
The designer?
Yeah. He left, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's the one that wanted everything to be impossibly thin for no reason, and it obviously never used a computer
No,
for its
that's why I'm
intended
so
purpose.
jealous of like your laptop, because it's like,
Mhm.
they fixed everything.
I did. This is a little bit weird.
That's a little bit weird.
Oh, here we go. Okay, now I've got the chat up properly. So now as people chat, I can properly respond. Okay, so I've got the chat up, I've got the screen recording up, and the screen that is up there, it seems to be the screen that actually is recording.
I need to know, where is this airport?
Okay, I'm gonna grab a little bit more pizza. We've got 3 minutes till we go live.
You had this kind of bumps before?
Hmm?
You had this kind of bumps before?
Wow.
Yeah, also?
Have you been to the Bell place in Joco?
Well,
I literally went there last night.
Oh, what?
Are
Oh,
you talking about Bow Boys or Bum Boys?
Fun Boys, yeah.
Yeah, I literally went there last night.
What? Did I already have a meetup?
No, it's a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
We meet
That was
together-
already a Bun Boys meetup.
We meet together and make bumps.
Okay,
Sometimes it's code, sometimes it's delicious, delicious food.
I'm gonna be back in less than 2 minutes, and we will start.
Where's the pizza from?
Slab pizza across the street.
Oh, okay.
still have my movie card. What I'm gonna do with the rest of it. Actually, no, I used all of it up, didn't I?
All right. 34 seconds on the clock. I'm going to point down a little bit more towards you.
Alrighty.
Let's move these cables slightly. That's the important cable. And then I'm also going to do this little trick. I always mount it the wrong way because I'm used to having to deal with myself.
Why don't we get a drone to do it?
Yeah, we should just let's build an AI. That's what we're here for. All right, so without further ado, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. It's good to have you all here. And for those of you that are joining in online, if you do find this to be useful, please consider a like, sub, follow, etc. on, I think you should be watching on the Utah Node.js channel on YouTube or my personal channel on Twitch. We've got Jordan here, and Jordan's going to present for us on Deno and Bun, and Node.js, and the fourth quarter 2022 State of the JS Runtime Address. You may now commence.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, my presentation is going to be on Deno and Node and Bun. For those of you who don't know me or want to follow, there's some follow stuff. Let's see. So if you want to install, I've got some links that you can go to the websites, but they're pretty simple. Deno.land, Node.js.org, or bun.sh.
Or if you wanted to install correctly, you go to webby.dev/Deno. Or
Does not have Bun, but yes, for
I don't
Deno.
have Bun yet, no. Webinstall.dev will install Node more correctly because it, never mind.
I will agree about Node, but I will disagree about Deno.
I don't know how you can do that, but okay.
Because Deno needs unzip installed apparently, and
Yeah,
as
that's still true if you download it from the website.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So there's some install links in the slides, but obviously you can't click them yet. But let's see. So Deno is I should have included this. It's built at least initially with Ryan Dahl, who also created Node.js. Ryan created back 2010, something like that, or 2000. It was a while ago, yeah, it was awesome. But we're talking about Deno. So he learned some stuff from building Node, from kind of selling it off to Joyent and all of that stuff, and decided to rework some stuff and made Deno.
One second. Where you showed Jojo.io, is that supposed to be the slides?
No, I technically have links to the slides at the end that it's yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
I wanted to post them for the benefit of anybody
See
joining in online.
here.
Everybody joining in online.
Okay.
The
Here we go.
concourses. Okay, so it is show.jojo.io
Mm-hmm.
state.
I can drop it in,
Run.
unless you've already got it. If you've got it, then I won't drop it anywhere.
You know what I should have done? I should have used Text Sniper. Would have saved me some typing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, okay, there it is. There's
All
the
right.
slides.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Does Deno replace Node?
I mean, yes, that's the idea, is you would be able to use Deno in place of Node. I mean, all of these essentially, like, instead of using Node, you should be able to use Bun or Deno. Bun is so new that I don't think you'd actually want to use it for production stuff yet. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be in place of, I think Deno and Bun would also kind of be in place of NPM as well, because NPM is separate from Node, even though it gets installed at the same time. but they kind of have their own stuff built into each of the frameworks. So in any case, Ryan Dahl built Deno in Rust, and it also uses V8, which Node uses V8. There's some links to the website again and the source code. Let's see, Node.js. You're at the Utah Node.js, meetup here. So it's built in several languages: C, C++, Python. Technically, it has some JavaScript in the repo too. A lot of JavaScript. So, but its kind of core underlying stuff is C and C++.
Python's just built tooling, I believe.
Yeah, but it's like 12% of the repository, so it's a lot of build tooling.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't look at the numbers for Deno, but I did look at those numbers on Node, and I didn't look at them on Zig. So Node is the original. It uses V8, which is also Chrome's engine. And then we've got Bun, which is being built in Zig, and it uses JavaScript Core, which is the WebKit JavaScript engine. And Zig's kind of claim to fame is they are faster, or so they claim, and part of that is Zig is more of a replacement for C, and it's fast, right? Yes? They've also done a lot of optimization with like file write type of things. So like the FS process in Node is actually really slow because of how it was built. But Bun has their own methods of writing to the file system that bypasses some really slow processes. So it's pretty cool in that regard, but it's new, like it's this year, right? Or maybe late last year?
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's new, it's not really production ready, battle tested or anything.
I don't know if you could say that though.
No?
Well, because think about Node. I mean, Node was being put in production at 0.4.
You don't have people using it in production who could probably vouch for it strongly, is my point. Node at this point, even though people were using it in production, like I was on board, I think at 0.1 or 0.2, like I was using it early and using it for client stuff, but it wasn't like what it is now. So Bun is in the early stages, but it has a lot of cool stuff. Let's see. So I guess I've got some more about Deno here. Their tagline is a simple, modern, and secure runtime for JavaScript, TypeScript, and WebAssembly that uses V8 and is built in Rust. Some of the cool stuff, and actually this applies to Deno and Bun, is they're targeting web platform functionality. The web platform is, it's kind of like web standards that didn't exist when Node was being built. But now with the edge and like building in the cloud and all of that kind of stuff, there's been a push of different cloud providers to provide a standard API, which it's
What's an example of a standard? This isn't MDN standards.
I have some code examples I can bounce to.
You'll get to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's, yeah.
Okay.
So, Node has a buffer, but then the web standard became array buffer instead.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
No.
There's just, yeah.
Like if you try to use a buffer in the browser, it's array buffer, it's not buffer, but it was buffer in Node.
And Node has so many backwards polyfills that it is maybe time for something to replace it because it's got so much backwards compatibility cruft that gunks it up.
Or they need like a new version that they're like, hey, we're dropping this, be prepared. In version 20, we're dropping the cruft, like.
Well, but they'd have to rewrite the entire networking stack, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm thinking Python 2 versus Python 3 type of thing. Like, it was a big enough rewrite that now everything's Python 3 for the most part, or a lot of it, but for a long time it was this weird, like, you could have packages that needed both versions, and you'd get into this really bad install scenario where it's like, well, I have to install this, and this needs Python version 2, and if I do it in the wrong order, or, yeah, it was just very complicated.
The
I don't know.
AWS CLI, has anybody else run into that?
Yes,
everybody knows
yes,
that?
Okay.
yes,
Did they?
case in point.
So they didn't take out Python. They just made it so you don't have to have Python, right? It like install, because I know you can install it without doing Python. You just like run the script and install.
I haven't used it for a while, so I admittedly don't know, but I know it was an issue the last time I used it. So continuing on, Deno is secure by default, and I think what it implies with that is you have to allow file system access, you allow network access, you allow read access or write access. So there's stuff like that where you literally, when you run the JavaScript or TypeScript file, you have to allow what it can access on the system. And if you don't, you run into errors. So it makes the claim secure by default, but, and I've already got a gripe later about this, but in reality, when you're first getting started, you don't know what errors you're getting because of your code versus because of Deno's secure by default. So you end up adding unstable and allow everything anyway. So at least I do. Maybe you guys are better than me. But
I think the idea is the edge computing. They were kind of on that before it became so popular as it has in the last couple of months. So if you wanted to run a package that you didn't believe should access the internet, you can force it to run without access to the internet.
yeah, which I like that. In theory, I like it. In practice, I'm pretty much just adding the allow everything flag whenever I'm testing stuff out, because the errors are different enough from what I'm used to with Node.js that yeah. So it's good in theory, and I'm sure when you're actually deploying projects in Deno, it's probably good. You're probably at the point where you understand those flags better, you understand what errors are happening, but starting out, it was really difficult to deal with that, so yeah. It has built-in tooling for inspecting and formatting your code, which I've only tinkered with that a little bit. It has a reviewed and audited standard modules, which it's organized slightly differently than the Node.js API, and it seems more fluid, I guess, than the Node.js API.
It was modeled off of Go, wasn't
Is it?
it?
What?
You know more than I do then.
I missed that. What's the question?
Deno's standard library is modeled after Go?
No.
No?
No, he did start Deno in Go first and then switched it to Rust later because the two garbage collectors, you can't run a language that has a garbage collector inside of a language with a garbage collector.
I think he means how it's organized for the standard library, not necessarily the underlying code.
No, I was just saying that maybe it does. Maybe in terms of the slashes it does, but not in the way that Go's package system works now.
Okay. All right.
We got a question in the chat, by the way. How important is language speed? Is the speed of Node.js really a problem? And the answer to that is
Depends on the use case.
Node is primarily deployed in places where you're going to start up the server and it doesn't know how long, and it doesn't matter how long it takes it to start. And then once it's started, it's going to run for a very long time because Node is based on V8, which is based on the browser, whereas the Deno and Bun are both more based in the idea of edge computing where it's going to boot up, run something small quickly, and so the boot up time is, I think, what's important.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is a important difference because, like, I don't know, maybe, like, correct me, but I know that, like, Next.js, the compiler is written, like, is written in Rust for the, like, the hot reload. And so, pretty sure, because it's in Rust, it's faster than, like, I have never seen one faster than that. And I don't know why. But I don't know if they're running Node or if they're doing some other transpiling or something.
Well, they're probably just using FFI or something to connect to the Rust process.
Yeah, because it's blazing fast. Like,
Well, I mean-
it's way faster than other
Like
hot reloads. I
Vite-
guess Vite is pretty fast.
Yeah, Vite is using ES Build, and that's built in Go, and then there's SWC that's built in Rust.
Yeah.
And so maybe
Maybe
Ne-
they're
you
that
said
maybe that's
Next? Is-
Next.js.
Maybe they're using SWC.
Yeah, because next is like the premier React way to go kind of thing.
So Deno also uses SWC for their transpiling and stuff. They're using SWC for TypeScript and JavaScript transpiling and bundling type stuff. So it's more than possible if they use something Rust, they're probably using SWC to handle that. But
TypeScript
It's-
is ridiculously slow.
Yeah, because but the thing is like when we are like I was watching something with Evan Yu, and he was talking about how complicated it is on the DOM when we make a change in a web app, and how the trees are just insane, and so.
A lot of backwards compatibility there.
So yeah, so like any way that they can optimize that, you know, everyone's looking for a different way to do it. So
Also, we have a comment from Datman Dark says, Deno standard lib is influenced by Kotlin. That seems like a mistake.
I don't know anything about Kotlin, but isn't that the Android something or
Yeah.
other?
Yeah, it's Google's replacement for Oracle.
Okay.
but
I
now
mean Java.
it's getting replaced by Fuchsia or whatever.
I thought that was the operating system.
No, but it's like isn't it a different language too?
Flutter's a different
Or
language.
Flutter is, Flutter, they want to make Flutter everything for Dart. But
I was so glad when Dart died, and then they brought it back with Flutter, and it makes me sad.
what?
They had literally introduced Dart and then added it into Chrome and tried to push it everywhere, and then removed it from Chrome because nobody was adopting Dart. And then at some point they built Flutter, and that's apparently taken off where other things in Dart haven't. And so now suddenly Dart is relevant again. I'm like, crap. Now there's TypeScript and Dart. Great.
At least Dart as a runtime.
Fuchsia is written in C.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Not Zig.
That's okay. They convert it. Zig can auto convert C to Zig. So if you write good C and you don't have macros upon macros, it works out.
Isn't there only bad C though? I thought that's mostly the complaint. Is it's usually
Utah
bad.
Node.js.
All right, moving on. About Node.js. It's an asynchronous, event-driven JavaScript runtime. Node.js is designed to build scalable network applications. That's their tagline. Yeah.
So, question between Deno and Node.
Uh-huh.
So there's all these like the Alpine Node Docker Compose images that
Mhm.
you've used. Is there one out there for Deno yet, or
Definitely.
okay?
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, you can just install Deno in a Docker container straight from the website. So
Mhm.
webinstall.dev, you can run that on an Alpine container and get Deno on there.
Oh, okay.
So because the problem Docker's trying to solve is the Python problem, and Node doesn't have that problem, and Deno doesn't have that problem. So you can just basically take their zip file, unzip it, and it will work.
Oh, okay.
Quite literally, you can just download the zip file and unzip it, and it'll just work. It doesn't need an install.
And if there's not one, I can easily make one and post that later.
Okay.
Maybe we'll even do it if there's still time here, but it should be relatively easy.
I prefer the pain of a Python install.
Yeah, you would.
Makes me tough.
So Node didn't have bullet points on their website, so I wrote them. Can you tell the difference? So it's JavaScript on the client and server. That was, I think, one of the original taglines. Is you could just use Java everywhere, basically. JavaScript, not Java. Java also had write once, run everywhere. That was a disappointing lie.
Hey, Java still runs on your DVD player to this day.
Do we have a DVD player?
I do.
Does it
You don't
run
have
on my
children.
4K?
When you get children, you get a DVD.
I like knowing that Disney can't just pull a middle finger on me and make my movies disappear, so.
100%.
I went offline last week, and I was so glad I still had a 4K player, because that's like what I did, is I watched 4K movies and Blu-ray, so, yeah. All right.
I'll keep saying that till I'm 90 on my rocker.
I mean, the alternative is convert all of my stuff to Plex, and I started that, and there's like 1/10 of my DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, and I got tired of ripping things.
Use on Node.js.
Yes. Production ready and battle tested. That, there you go, for Node.js. I wrote that. And, should add bullet points to the website, otherwise I write them. I wrote that too. All right. So Bun, new JavaScript runtime with a native bundler, transpiler, task runner, and NPM client built in. And they also had bullet points like Deno, so I didn't write these. It's built-in web APIs, which I was mentioning on the Deno one. They also have it, so web platform APIs are built in. It changes the way you kind of structure code when you're like organizing for mostly edge type stuff, but you can also change the way you're writing it in for just running inside Bun. It actually implements Node's module system, but also has ESM and CommonJS. The fastest system calls available with Bun Write, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is they've done their own optimization around writing to the file system, and so it's significantly faster than some of the other ones. And I did not add this to the presentation, but I tested that a month or two ago and ran a couple benchmarks of just writing a bunch of files between Deno, Node, and Bun. And Bun was definitely faster, and it would move files faster and stuff like that. So I will vouch for that. At least a month ago. A lot of changes with this project. Anyways. I like this. I don't know if AJ would, but it automatically loads environment variables. So
God bless them.
.env. Huh? Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah. So no require .env config, which is nice. I
hate
love
that
it.
module so much, because he's a Microsoft guy, and he wants it to be any compatible instead of being SH compatible. I just want to punch him in the face.
And it also implements most of the Node API, and so a lot of Node.js stuff just works, including NPM. Let's see. So, and this is Winter CG is the kind of standards for the edge. And Deno you can use on the edge, Node you can, but I couldn't really find any good examples of Bun. Just like I said, it started last year, I think, like in November or December of last year. So it's been around about a year, and no one's really implemented it. So maybe you could implement your own cloud solution and use Bun to run functions, but I wasn't seeing any clear examples. And if there are, please tell me. I would love to
These
know.
are
'cause I'd
Lambda
like to.
functions?
Kind of, yeah,
Oh.
that kind of stuff. But, so Winter CG actually goes into, let's see, whoops, that opened on the wrong screen. Let me go over here. Let's see. Now, of course, it's on the opposite screen. So they're the working group that does like web interoperable runtimes there. And there's a bunch of, like Cloudflare and Deno are two of the big companies involved, but Shopify and Vercel are also involved. I'm surprised Netlify is not on here, but I know if you go to the Deno website, Netlify is also using stuff like Deno in their runtime. So there's a lot of good information here. This is the Winter CG. Anyways, let's see here. How do I get back to the other window? This is going to close it, isn't it? All right. And okay. So this is a Deno example server. I had actually, or I was trying to show an example where you could run the same JavaScript code, which is actually the next example I'll get to. And you used to be able to run it on Deno, Node, and Bun. And so they could all run the same code, but just the last, minor version of Node, they removed the compatibility option. So you can't do that anymore.
What happened?
I'll show in,
Okay.
and it's on one of the later slides. In any case, it's pretty simple. This is the example I was talking about, allow net. You have to allow it to like communicate with your network, or if it was writing, like if it had form uploads, you would need to allow it file system access, probably write access, or if it was reading from an index.html, you'd need to allow read access and that kind of stuff. So that's what allow net does. And this is kind of the web platform example that it mentioned. And it'll be more obvious for the bun example. So let me move on. I guess I didn't need to do that. So this example for Node used to run in all three. You could just use the same Node code and import Node HTTP. And if you ran Deno with Deno --compat and --unstable, you could actually get this to run. But now it actually works on Bun and Node, but not Deno. And that's just your standard, like this was pulled, I added some console logs, and that's it. Like this was your standard example from the Node.js website. Let's see. And so this is the Bun example, and this is more in line with the edge computing and like the WhatCG stuff that I just showed. This is more how they recommend doing it when you're actually building like edge functions and serverless functions. Didn't you go into this when right? I think you did a probably better example of this.
I didn't have a good example.
Okay.
I did it a little bit.
Okay,
Because I did it on Deno deploy. And
That's right.
Cloudflare workers.
that's right. Yeah, look his talk up. He probably covered some better stuff than me. So this is pretty simple. Like this is how you do it, and this should theoretically run for Deno deploy and Cloudflare workers, and that's what the Winter CG working group is focusing on. Let's see. So here's my gotchas. Deno, this is what I was talking about, AJ. So you used to be able to run that, and it just got removed. We're now on 1.26, and it just got removed in 1.25.
Good.
I guess, but it makes it just kind of harder transitioning to a different runtime.
Pick a side.
Yeah, true enough. Let's see. Why can't I unselect that?
Does Bun do that compatibility?
You can just
Yeah, just
cut in with
ask.
your questions or comments there.
So, my question is, on Deno's website, they do have pages and pages about how Node and Deno could be compatible. Is that legacy now since they removed
Yep.
it? So,
I was literally referencing it, trying to get an example, and this is what it's from, compat unstable, and it's all irrelevant now.
so their website's old.
And so I linked to it here. Whoop, didn't mean to open that here. So in the slides, if you, at the end, I've got a QR code and the link to it. That's what AJ posted. That's a link to the issue where they're like, this wasn't working great, so we removed it. And, oh yeah, we're going to update the docs. Yeah. So, yes, it's irrelevant as far as I'm aware.
But NPM still works well with Deno.
I think they did
For
mention
client,
something about that, yeah. Like you can, instead of using node, colon, HTTP, you can use NPM and an NPM package, but I didn't actually get around to testing that.
I don't know if I've updated my Deno, but I have a project that does NPM compatibility with Deno.
Cool, that's awesome. You'll have to send me the link to that. You know, if it's open source or whatever. Bun actually, in my testing, has decent compatibility. Like I showed, the server just worked, even though they have this other way of designing your servers for more of edge type functions. They still have really good node compatibility. And the only place that I found that wasn't true was if you're using something with workspaces or mono repos involved in the packages, it doesn't do the proper linking. And so you can have issues with that if you're installing something, which might sound like, well, if you know about that, and you're just not going to use it. But for a lot of the Bun stuff, because the compatibility is there, you can just take an NPM repository and it will process the package.json, and you can use Bun run instead of NPM run. And so I've actually been testing this myself for a couple months now. A lot of my stuff just works, and a lot of times you'll find out that you're running Bun and it's actually also running Node because of whatever scripting system, or like if you're using Vite, so you might do Bun run dev, and it actually starts Vite, which starts Node, which like starts ES build, you know, like, so it's not always actually running the JavaScript or a lot of the JavaScript in Bun, but it is, it will run a lot of it if it's primarily JavaScript. So it's cool, at least in my opinion, but the workspaces thing kind of makes it difficult. So anyways, opinions, these are mine. Most of the difficult, so Deno seems the most difficult and has the most gotchas, especially coming from Node. Like I said, I adopted Node back near the time it first came out. I heard about it and I thought, this is amazing, and I've loved it since. And so I've been entrenched in the Node stuff for a long time, and so suddenly something new that's causing me to have to shift how I think about things, it's been more difficult. If you're new to Node, it might actually be easier for you to adopt. But that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, Deno was supposed to be a TypeScript runtime.
That's true.
And that's it, they lowered their standards and said, oh, well, yeah, it's a JavaScript runtime too. But it was supposed to be a TypeScript thing. And that's where it had a competitive advantage of dropping all the crap. Mm-hmm. If you want to keep all the crap, then just stick with Node. If you want terrible APIs and really buggy networking code, if you want all that stuff, and 5 gigabyte NPM installs, stick with Node.
I mean, job security, right?
I need all 4,000 of those to make React. Of
Yes.
those libraries.
Yeah. That's how you know it's a good project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, already went over the security flag stuff, but this is just kind of reiterating it. This is what I tend to do most often is adding unstable and adding all, and suddenly it's not exactly secure. So don't do that. But that's what you're probably going to do if you don't. If you want to figure out, is this my code or is this I didn't allow the right permission, you're probably going to do this at some point. Bun targeting the edge, and if you're looking to that like future, you want to do cloud edge computing, serverless type stuff. Like, I like that they're targeting it, even though it's probably not running on any real edge like production level stuff yet. I would not be surprised if it doesn't get there soon, maybe even by early next year.
But if you consume avocado toast, that's the one for you, the bun one.
If you consume avocado toast, that's the bun one? Did you just have a stroke?
Because
I don't smell any toast.
Like if you're like a hipster, then like that's the bun is the one for you, right?
Sure.
No, I think bun is the one for you if you see the future.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
All right.
What, so poll of the room actually, because see, here's the thing. I'm an old fart. He's an old fart. We have no idea what's going to be popular. He's an old fart. He probably doesn't know either. But you young people, you know. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether they know what's right. It's just whatever choice they make is what becomes popular. So, what's the poll in the room here? Is bun the new hotness? Is Deno the new hotness? Is there no new hotness?
Well, each one has its own benefits, but it also has their own downfalls.
Yeah, oh, come on now. That's everything in the world.
That's a generic answer.
No, I remember I saw, okay, I was going to a Ruby meetup, and somebody presented on Node.js 0.2. That was the last Ruby meetup I ever went to. Okay, I started the Utah.js, I don't know, sometime around that time, and so, you know, it was clear, it was evident, I looked at it, and I was in college, and I'd done a little bit of Java, and a little bit of PHP, and a little bit of Python, and I thought, Ruby, this is it. Ruby's got the best structure, you have all the options, it's the best thing to work with. And it wasn't performant, but in terms of being able to program well, Ruby was a great option at the time. But Node came out, and it was obvious. And so that's kind of what I'm saying. Do you have one of these intuitive senses of like, hey, when I work with this thing versus I work with this thing, I can tell this is what is the zeitgeist? What is the spirit of the times?
Well, things seem to be moving more TypeScript. So I think just because of its nature, will probably surpass Node eventually, because you have to tackle on so many packages to just run a simple TypeScript program in Node. Whereas Deno, you just program TypeScript and you're good.
Well, Bun's the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
I've never done Bun, so I don't know.
I skipped over all of that because I hate TypeScript. Again, old guy, love JavaScript, but yeah.
We're from the future,
yeah.
where you can have a simple programming language that doesn't require twice as much in
Ceremony.
ceremony.
But that's what the any type is for. You just give it the any type and it's good.
And then suddenly TypeScript is pointless.
No,
And so
I'll save that discussion for another time. Any other ideas in the room here? Old farts are allowed to chime in too.
That replaces Webpack.
Huh?
Anything that gets rid of Webpack.
I agree with that.
I'm so confused.
So
Is that the whole thing?
Vite has like replaced a lot of Webpack users.
I thought Vite was taking over, and then I looked at the statistics, and I'm like, oh, it's doing good, but Webpack is still used. Like
Yeah.
we looked at the graph, and it's like wow, if you take Webpack out, Vite is doing good against everything else that came out. And then you add Webpack, and Webpack's like up here, and like, oh. And I was hoping Webpack would start going down, but no, it's like also climbing. I'm like, oh.
Isn't that mostly inertia?
Yeah,
But
probably.
that's-
I would
yeah,
hope it dies
Exactly,
off.
because like jQuery on Stack Overflow is still there. Like it's still
still
strong.
number one.
It's still happening, and like
There's still COBOL programs being
yeah,
used.
they're still doing
But
that.
it's not still number one.
But jQuery
For banking.
for most loved web framework, jQuery is not there. So it's like most loved is Svelte. you know.
For banking and pyramid schemes, COBOL is number one.
Oh yeah, pyramid schemes. Let's not forget about those.
But doesn't NPM or NPX create your Act app? Doesn't that
Hey, that
install
Dogecoin is gonna come
Webpack
back.
by default?
Dogecoin?
It's not a previous.
What do you get when you mix an elephant with a rhino?
I believe
I
that.
have no idea.
Because Elon
No,
Musk is.
Alfino.
Did you see the bird there?
What? So I did figure we would try to test out some of the stuff, but I kind of want to do the next slides, get to the end, and then we'll come back to building something if we have time and if there's desire. So there are several different awesome links I've included in the slides for each of the runtimes. However, there's probably like 20 other awesome links I did not include. I just included the main original one for Node.js, but there weren't as many for Deno and Bun, so I think these are more source appropriate for Deno and Bun. And then there was, actually, I thought this was helpful. Let's see. So there was this little cheat sheet in the Deno stuff that actually shows you like the comparison of running Node versus Deno.
So when you install in Deno, it's global by default, or global always?
It has the option of installing like command line scripts, and that's global. But otherwise, when you run a Deno program, it downloads all of the dependencies and caches them somewhere locally, I believe. I forget which folder, but it's probably in one of your
So
user
the
directories.
version is in the path of Deno, right?
Mhm.
No, you don't.
Which,
You don't install something with Deno unless it's global.
yeah.
So like, is it kind of like PNPM where it stashes it away, like all the?
Kind of. So you would run stuff like this for Deno, where you've got the package name and then the version, and you can include just URLs. Let's see. So you could run that, and it will run a curl example and stuff like that. But you could also include it. That's what I did in my example. Is I included from a URL, which is how they recommend to use the standard library. Yeah.
So that just seems like it's gonna be problematic when, so what is the story in Deno for updating to the patch version? So say, I've got 40 files here in my project, I got 40 files, every single one of them needs to use the request object. Well, I guess that's all by fetch, but same principle. How do I say, okay, do I just use SD and then do search and display, so 0.160.0 with one, really I don't want to do that, I want it to update to the latest one. Or I want to be able to say, update this package to, patch release or.
You can
minor
usually
release.
say at latest and those kind of tags too, but
But if I do that, then I would have no guarantee. Is there tooling to be able to say Deno update standard at?
I
And then
don't,
have it go find and
I
replace
didn't
the
get
strings?
that far.
Okay.
Maybe there is, but I don't know that answer.
Yeah, does this like get rid of the ability to like specify the version you want easily and like update it in one place?
Actually, I did see something about that.
So there's one thing I've noticed throughout my decade of programming, which is that you should never solve a problem unless you introduce a previous problem that was solved at least 5 to 20 years prior.
So I think this is what you were talking about.
Okay, so there is a.
You can do an import map. So
Oh,
you
that's
can,
weird.
you can basically package.json, which they didn't have originally, but they don't want to use package.json.
That's a standard.
Huh?
That's a standard, isn't it? Import maps.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a new standard that I'm not familiar with, but I do think,
And they
huh?
can do YAML or
Rails
anything?
is using it in their new stuff.
Okay.
So,
What about
that's
YAML?
interesting.
What? I don't know. I know some of them are trying to like do YAML like Rust, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
the thing is called UDD,
UDD?
update Deno dependencies, and it does the string find every place.
Is it a third-party module?
GitHub.
GitHub? So if I look here and say UDD,
So how does the TypeScript differentiate? Like
So this-
like the syntax.
How does what?
TypeScript between
'Cause it says-
JavaScript?
Or
or-
between it says .ts. Is it doing TypeScript things on Deno? Is that?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, the .ts is
You can
TypeScript.
provide TypeScript. I just hate TypeScript, so I did all JavaScript examples. But both Bun and Deno, you can just provide TypeScript files, and if you've got the definitions and all of that stuff in your directory structure, it will just handle that as if you're using Webpack or Babel or whatever TypeScript-y crap. Yeah, I mean, TSC. That's a thing, right? TSC. Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
It's annoying.
I know stuff.
I didn't
Like,
know
when
that
can I
compiled.
do things?
Yeah. Yes, so there are apparently utilities to do that where you can update all the packages, but it's a third-party module and not a official Deno thing. And that's how, that is where Deno, as far as I understand, they try to keep the standard library as small as possible, but they do try to add web standards and stuff to the standard library, if I understood it correctly. Yeah. Let's see, so how do I get out of this?
Is this the official Deno dinosaur?
No,
No.
no, that's the official UDD.
Mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a cow dinosaur.
I like that though, and because it's the scene from Jurassic Park with the Brachiosaurus, or is it Brontosaurus? I don't know, these things are-
How dare you not know your dinosaurs?
Well, it's gone back and forth so many times over the decades.
Is
Utah-
T-Rex
Utah
still a
JS.
thing?
T-Rex
Because I
is
feel
still
like
a
they,
thing.
okay,
His closest relative is still the chicken.
okay.
True
That's
story.
why I've never trusted chickens. And I always
birds are
make sure to
dinosaurs.
eat them so that I absorb their power of T-Rex-ness.
So,
Utah Node.js.
Utah Node.js.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end of my slides. There's some follow information, and if you are not in the Node.js Discord, there's a QR code you can scan and QR code to the slides. So I'll leave that up for a second for anyone who wants to take it. And then, yeah, I figured we could either talk, discuss things, or try to do a, like, just tack on some code. Yeah. Thoughts? Any opinions?
I think we should have some avocado toast.
Sweet.
I wonder if Text Sniper works with QR codes. Let's find out.
Okay.
Thank you, Jojo.
Oh! Alright. So maybe in future, Utah Bun.js. Yeah, we'll just rename the group when that's appropriate. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. I'm really not.
Yeah, yeah. It's like once, because there's a lifespan to everything. And it's just kinda
I will just rename the group to Utah Bun.js and I'll have no shame in it. But this is what needs to happen. The very first time I've ever run Bun. Dial D 3358 missing symbol call. Crash at 0x982984010000000. Bun meta.
Everybody knows that error.
You guys hold that on me? This is the first time I've ever tried to run it. Now granted,
What did you run it on?
let's not talk about it.
But I want to.
You have to run it in a Docker container
and then everything just,
No, so the thing is, the thing that I ran it on, I thought it was mostly vanilla.js, but then I remembered I have one dependency that has 6,000 other dependencies. And a lot of them are WASM crypto stuff and not in API, but the previous. It's Dash stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Dash core lib. I wasn't using it, but I just barely introduced it into the project, and so now that's. So I'll try it again. I'll just comment out the thing that I'm not using anyway. But yeah, as soon as that works, then we're renaming the group, guys.
it's not a joke. It's like as soon as there's compatibility.
Some of the other stuff I didn't really get into, which I think is cool, and I didn't get as much into this presentation as I had intended and wanted to. So I would actually like to do a follow-up where I go more in depth and maybe have a lot more code examples rather than just me talking about the about sections of these things.
Well, this was great, by the way.
Okay,
I mean, again,
thanks.
double applause. Sorry to make you all double applause. It was appropriate.
Ugh.
Oh, so in any case, one of the things that Bun does is they have a bundler type of thing inside, and I'm assuming it does some sort of zip type thing, but it's supposed to be more efficient, so you can bundle your JavaScript app into .buns instead of .js, and you can then distribute them easier, or supposedly. Haven't tested it, want to look more into it. I don't know if Deno has something similar, but I thought that was pretty interesting about Bun having that. Yeah, so that's something I would like to look into more. Let's see.
Node.bun.
Why am I doing it this way? That's the difficult part.
And I'm gonna rename Utah Rust to Utah Zig.
Sweet.
That might not go over well. I think renaming this to Utah Bun would go over just fine.
I actually agree with that.
But renaming Utah Rust would not go.
I don't have a strong opinion there, but yeah, I think it would go over worse. Where was that?
Bun has a SQLite client built in.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
That's actually one of the things I wanted to do is build like 3 versions, a Deno, a Bun, and which I mean, maybe they've got the code they ran to compare this, but yeah, I wanted to build a real but, trivial type of app where it's like, okay, this is actually saving, it's touching the file system, it's touching SQLite, like type of stuff, and kind of see what it would be like, but I wasn't able to get time to do all of that. But yeah, I don't know. They make strong claims, and then didn't mean to click that. Let's see.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
True story.
yeah.
Obviously, Bun will win because it's adorable.
Yeah.
Oh,
You don't think the dinosaur is adorable?
The Bun is just more.
No, actually, everyone's gonna die off from diabetes because they get hungry.
They get hungry every time they.
And they're like, I don't know why, but I'm craving just carbohydrates really bad whenever I program. Okay, I wanted to see docs, was it?
What?
For assembly
I
script?
wasn't expecting it to go here, so. let's see.
For assembly script, is there one, is Bun better than Deno or Node, or
You mean Wasm?
for WASM or assembly script type stuff? Yeah.
I don't think it was due to assembly script, because that's a superset of TypeScript.
okay, so Bun is running other node code seemingly perfectly. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna see if I can fix whatever problem it is that's causing it not to work. It's probably node crypto. It probably doesn't like node crypto.
maybe. Yeah, just check they have a list of like what they're compatible with in the Node API, so it could be that. I know, they also mention, let's see, Node.
It's like Rust's success comes from its like the errors that are so helpful, I think. And where you had that error with Deno, you were like,
No, it was Bun.
or was it Bun?
That was running Bun. I have no interest in Deno. I did for a little while when pre-Corona, when I thought there was an opportunity in the market, but I think that Corona destroyed their opportunity in the market.
I disagree. I think you've mentioned this before, and like it stopped with the popularity, like people talking about it, but now it's actually being like snuck into behind the scenes everywhere. It's kind of like what Dart did with Flutter. They've basically got that effect where suddenly they're being adopted in Cloudflare workers and in Netlify and in Vercel. And so like, yeah, they weren't getting a lot of PR or press or whatever, but I think it's going to have like a big interest come back. That or Bun will replace it because they'll steal all of the thunder.
I think the main thing with Bun is like if they can move fast enough and innovate fast enough, then they'll get traction.
Mm-hmm.
But like they need to do something that actually delivers unique value.
Mhm.
Otherwise, stick with Node. I mean,
Yeah.
momentum.
Yeah.
With Deno getting snuck into, so like it is powering Netlify's functions, but I don't know how much of that is actually Deno or Deno deploy, because Deno deploy is their like server architecture that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I can tell, it's doing basically the same thing that Cloudflare workers are doing, which they're both just using V8.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where like, I feel like that might take off, but I don't think you really need Deno for that. So that's where Bun might be like.
I think, well, Bun is written in Zig, which means that you don't need to pay someone $300,000 to learn how to develop for it. I mean, honestly, Rust takes genius level intelligence to use. It just does. Someone argue with me, you know, on that. So tell me that you love Rust, you're great at it, and that you're dumb. You know.
I feel so smart anytime I get something to work in Rust.
Exactly.
Like a line.
Yeah.
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 But Zig got that Python Go quality where it's like, oh, this is intuitively obvious and simple, and
Zig is a very small language.
which is what all of the intuitively obvious languages are, and it has a Zen, which all of the intuitively obvious languages do.
Is Zig the language that's created by Google?
Go is created by Google. Zig is created by this incredible human being, philanthropist.
You know, it's by the Illuminati.
So Zig is to C what Rust is to C++, except that Zig can automatically convert C into Zig, and Rust cannot automatically convert C++ into Rust.
Compile time, generics, reflection, evaluation, cross-compilation, manual memory management. So yeah, see.
So something else with Bun is that, so if that kind of like V8 thing that Cloudflare workers and Deno deploy are using, I don't know how Bun would actually do, because it's using JavaScript core and not V8.
Wait, what was the question again?
Well, it was just a thought, because I said that Deno I wasn't sure what would take off. I think that the Deno deploying Cloudflare worker architecture, or that's running at the edge, will take off. But since that's using V8 and V8 isolates, Bun's using JavaScript core instead of V8. So I don't know how.
Well, V8's really slow, because V8 was developed for a browser where you're going to open it once, it's going to stay open. I think that's part of V8's problem, and that's the opportunity that what Cloudflare is working on and the whole winter CG thing presents is, and I don't know about V8 isolates, I'm completely unfamiliar with that. But V8 is slow to start. And that was one of the things that Microsoft tried to fix with whatever their thing was
That's
called.
what the isolates are solving, is that, so they start V8 once, and then these isolates are like these mini baby runtimes that can start and stop super quickly.
They're basically VMs and are running,
They're
Yeah.
browser tabs.
yeah.
That's kind of
Ah,
sandboxes during isolates.
well said. They're browser tabs.
Mm-hmm. So
Now,
browser.
when you say that V8 is slow, I mean, that only, like for most use cases where Node is being used.
It's not
I mean, it's
slow
slow-
at runtime, it's slow at boot time. is what I'm
Right,
saying.
but like, what's the overhead to run console, you know, a program that's just console log? What's the total overhead? It's probably measured in hundreds of milliseconds, right?
Well, I don't think that you can,
So it matters in edge compute cases,
Mhm.
but like most of the scenarios where Node has traditionally been used, it's not such a big deal.
no, I agree.
Yes, yeah.
I agree.
Full on.
Well, except that I think that it's good when, I think we have a real problem in the development space right now, because we've gone back to the old XKCD of, you know, can you bring up that XKCD of the fighting on the chair with the, it's compiling? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone back to that, except it's deployed. Nobody knows how to run stuff on their own computer anymore, and it takes daggone 15, 20 minutes for it to go through the CI/CD system. And so where it used to be, you know, my code's compiling, we had this brief window of, there's no excuses because you just hit F5, or you just run watch exec or equivalent. And now we're back to this.
Well, you can still do that, you just need to have an ongoing investment into your own infrastructure to make sure that stuff stays fast.
Yeah, well, I just think we NPM, more so than Node, it's NPM. It's 5 gigabytes of crap that has to be downloaded every single time. Every single time your deploy process runs, it has to re-download the entire 5 gigabytes again. And that's where I think that Bun may create a revolution. Yes, exactly. Heaviest objects in the universe.
Yep.
Node, the sun, black hole, node modules. You want to pull that one up too? So I think it's just like NPM heaviest object. Probably. Everybody can see it.
Well, most node modules have modules, so just that 5 gigs can become 30 real fast.
It's like the meter, I heard you like modules, so I put modules in your modules.
Festivus.dev.
For the rest of us?
Yes, exactly.
Festivus.dev. This is one of the best sites on the internet. Look at, again, probably JavaScript. This is a good one. I don't get why everyone is hating JavaScript so much. Here's a variable for you and a variable for you. Look at it. Well, mine is clearly a number. What's the big deal with this? Now try adding another number. What's the magic happen? It's 2022. Surely you could add two numbers together without it becoming a Boolean. Tell that to the on-call front-end engineer last night, trying to parse an int from a data set with an emoji, type emoji, giant tapping emoji. Apparently, if you append enough zeros, it's just taco and Unicode. I wrote that code. Sorry, but what about TypeScript? Hey, keep this in mind. At least nobody's using JavaScript for anything critical. All serious stuff is written in Go, C++, and Rust. Nope. Language that sees no difference between taco and int runs in my car? Nice joke. I don't believe that. Next thing it told me is the code was actually written by Kramer. I ordered it. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of the one that's like a blog.
But the question is, why don't they use AI to like generate their voices?
Oh, just an NPM package. That was just an NPM package, and the other one was something about blog. That's good. So I should use an NPM package. NPM. Well, that's easy. I'll try it.
They need to deep fake their voices.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like
I
the
was
AI
looking
voice.
to write a function and check if the number's even. Apparently, I can just use a package for this. Really? It's perfect. I get all the functionality done later. Just install and use. It really saves you time, and who cares? It just pulls a 1.5 gigabytes per page. Exactly.
Yeah.
You get this. Remote code execution is free. Remote code execution? Oh, sure. How do you think your even or odd number package does logging? Console.log? Console.log is 2021. The library makes a REST call to a remote server to get the text call. It's some JSON, and the writes on by using another dependent package. Really? Why do you think those packages get millions of downloads? Oh yeah. What, if I was only 2 lines? I spent 4 hours patching. Oh. You still want to use that package? So I should write that.
And that's AJ.
Yeah.
You identified very strongly with that last line at the very least.
This is an amazing website.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was on Hacker News once.
Or every time that they post a new one.
What was the other one you said?
That's pretty.
There was something about a blog.
Like it says blog in the title?
I don't know if it does.
Mm.
I don't know, they're kind of lazy. They haven't AI'd their voices.
So there's this website called VoiceFake, and you can. The example that they gave me was Jordan Peterson, and I put in some technical documentation from a README, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Which one is it?
VoiceFake? I think it's called VoiceFake. And I just copied in for a README. It's like, so I'm using this so-called package from NPM, and when you install it, you get essentially everything you need. I don't
I feel like I shouldn't pull any of these up on, I guess it's not that bad.
Oh, this is a different one.
No, I did voice fake.
Maybe
Take
it's,
up this one?
maybe it's fake voice. What is it?
This one?
I think that's the one. Yeah, and Jordan Peterson is the prime example. It is so
What is it
hilarious
called?
to listen to technical
Voice
documentation.
It's
Voice fake?
voicefake.com.
Oh, that's funny. I searched voice fake and it didn't even show up.
They don't have good search optimization.
But it is just quite hilarious.
Yeah,
All the small things, but it's SpongeBob guy.
you can choose from all this.
Just copy from.
Unless that's 2 people, Jordan Peterson and
Just
Gary.
copy the node about page.
Yeah.
Or just Zig stuff, yeah.
Or let's see if I can find a good one. Just listening to Jordan Peterson reading something highly technical. Here we go. Updates the cipher.
That's
with
all he
data.
does, just with psychology stuff.
How are they doing this for free though?
I hear nothing.
You only get a couple sentences.
Oh.
Oh, it might be coming through on my computer.
Oh no, I'm muted.
Updates the cipher with data. If the imputed coding argument is given, the data argument is a string
Holy
used
shiz,
in the
that's good.
specified encoding. If the imputed coding argument is not given, data must be a buffer. Type storing for data.
That's
Data
creepy.
is a buffer. Type
Yeah.
Zig is a general-purpose programming language and tool chain for maintaining robust, optimal, and reusable software.
This is the most valuable thing I learned tonight.
So my next presentation is on deep faking
I
voices.
pay for Speechify and it does like as much as you want. Like, I use it to listen to everything.
What is it?
Speechify. It's the same thing. It's just you pay for it and you can do as much as you want.
Well, that one you pay for, but all of them become really expensive very quickly. Because they're free tiers, it's the old SaaS model, you know? One banana, $1.
Dig is a
Two
general
bananas,
purpose programming language and toolchain for
$1.80.
maintaining robust, optimal, and reusable software. Dig is a general purpose
I don't know
10
who that guy
bananas,
is.
$5.
Who's Gary Vaynerchuk?
It's Spider-Man's uncle.
But then SaaS, it's, you know, your first 10 units free, 11 units, $500 a month, 12 units, $8,000 a month, 13 units, call for
Enterprise.
enterprise.
Yeah, so like Speechify is $139 a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds reasonable.
yeah. But I have big problems reading, so I use it all the time.
I will
It's
consider it.
Speechify? Is that what?
No, Speechify is just, I have it on my. It has a nice Chrome extension, so you can just do it right on the page.
Can you do it on the phone as well?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
How do you do it on the phone?
Oh, well, it has the. So yeah.
Which one has Seinfeld? That's the question.
So like I put in
Yesterday, I worked on
something.
background. Rust currently has tier 2 targets for a
So
number
this
of
is
platforms
just something that I was listening to some Rust some documentation.
as well as some tier 3 targets.
And they have a few famous people. But,
PowerPC, risk-free,
Is this a famous version?
huh?
Whose voice is that?
Stephanie, just some rando.
Welcome to Speechify.
Not Gwyneth Paltrow?
And then it's Gwyneth
Welcome
Paltrow.
to Speechify.
Welcome to Speechify. Welcome to Speechify.
Okay, everybody, at the same time.
Welcome to Speechify.
Did you know people with ADHD can listen 3 times faster than most people can read?
Do I have ADHD then? Because I listen at 4 times speed.
Everybody has.
No, seriously, I have a problem.
I have a legitimate problem with reading. I have no idea how I made it through college, and I wish I had Speechify or something because I would just scan it can scan pages and then it just reads them to you. So
That is awesome.
like you can take a picture of your textbook and do it. So
That's awesome.
How does it deal with like
I have like,
diagrams and like?
yeah. So it kind of goes around it,
words.
but like I have like there's like new folder, scan pages, paste text, import file, and paste web link, so it'll like read the web page. So, the best way to read it though is with the Chrome extension, and then it just it hits each word and you see what words.
I think this is going to change my life. I thank you. But I really want things read in Jordan Peterson's voice.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing is they're getting more celebrities and stuff to do it. So
Yeah,
we need to get
$140 a year is worth it.
I was like done. I was like done.
Festivus.sh.
Yeah,
and
Festivus.
We'll just do Jordan, or no, we'll try to find Kramer and George and Seinfeld, and just add those to the videos. Yeah.
Thanks for joining in. I hope you learned something.
Yeah.
Hey, what should we have next time? What topic? No, we already have a topic for next time. I think I'm presenting next month. We can change it though if we want to. I was going to do cryptocurrency payments.
Cool.
That's what I was going to present on.
Sweet.
Because I work with Dash Incubator and I know the stack from almost top to bottom now. They're really, 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 really deep. I could not write an elliptic curve from scratch. I could maybe port it. But yeah, so that's my thought for next time. Any other ideas?
Next month,
That sounds cool to me.
there's actually 2 items on Meetup. One is digital
Hey,
payments, and the other one is embedding duct
When I
tape
pee,
into
I
an
can make it
application.
mostly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll go with that.
That's my skill.
We may just bump mine back. but
NDPU get mostly in the toilet.
We'll see.
I'll see you guys next month then. It's good to meet you
And
all.
something about avocado toast.
Thanks.
How many strokes did you have while we've been sitting here?
I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the stream.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
So for those of you that joined online, thanks for joining online. If you got any last comments, I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to drop those in. And then I will.
Pokemon Stadium.
The only 2 select voices are JBP and Gary. I didn't notice that before. Voice fake?
The second person I played was Gary something, but I don't know
Okay.
who that is actually.
I don't know who that is either. I'm gonna try this out.
Updates the cipher with data.
Oh, no. I gotta convert a second time apparently. I just.
Updates the cipher with
That's
data.
really good.
If the input encoding argument is given, the data argument is a string using the
So who is
specified
this?
encoding.
I don't know who.
If
That's the Gary guy.
I know, but who is Gary?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you mix Alpha and Rhino?
Is he like, maybe he founded the website? Like, I don't know.
Gary, like the snap?
He just sounds to me like Tom
All
Holland.
right, anyway, well, thanks for joining in. Like, sub, follow if you want to. Likewise, people that are in the room, you're already on Meetup, but we have a Discord and a YouTube and
I think a lot of the people got the QR code.
I don't support imposing mental disability on people. All right, and with that,